All right, Maggie, welcome to Manufacturing Happy Hour, and you came prepared, as I can see that. Beer in hand, which is the way we started this and like to do it. And in Manufacturing Happy Hour fashion, we are having this conversation, literally having a beer with one another. So, I'd love for you to describe gener8tor, because when I look at what it is, it says it's a turnkey platform for the creative economy. What does that mean?
So gener8tor is a venture fund and a startup accelerator that operates in over 40 cities across the country. We call ourselves a turnkey platform because we can come to any city and partner with that community to set up programming to help invest in their best and brightest in whatever way that they need.
And I'm curious about this specific event because we're here in Indiana. We're here in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse where the Indiana Pacers play. This is not the typical spot where I do these type of interviews. Actually, I've done interviews like this. I've been to an event at Lambeau Field before. That's the closest thing. But this is not your typical venue for an event like this. So, how did this event come to be? Give us the origin story of the OnRamp conference.
We have done an OnRamp conference at Lambeau Field.
Oh, no way.
And Soldier Field, which we call Lambeau South.
Yes, yes. You're from Wisconsin.
I am
originally,
from
right?
Wisconsin, yes. And so I would say go Bucks, but I don't want to get kicked out of this stadium.
Sure. They're the one, as a non-Wisconsin native, they're the one Wisconsin team I have adopted.
They're easy to adopt because they won a national championship.
Yes.
So the OnRamp Conference Series started in 2013, and it was originally a regional conference. So the sort of complaint that we had about all the conferences that were available for startup companies to attend is that they were very expensive, and the ROI was really unclear. So you would pay a lot of money, and you kind of networked and squinted at name tags, and you would try to find the right person to get a deal done, and you never knew what was going to happen. So we said, what if we got a bunch of corporations in Wisconsin together who commit to either buying from, investing in, or buying coffee for one of the startups? We will curate startups to meet with them. They'll get to pick who they want to meet with, and then we will facilitate sort of speed networking 20-minute meetings for the explicit purpose of getting deals done. Mm-hmm. And because we had so many people who attended those early conferences, we needed a venue where there were a lot of little private meeting rooms.
Yeah.
And stadiums, because they have the luxury box suites, were perfect. So they're not being used during the day. They're a really cool venue. And then everyone gets a little small meeting room, and it's very efficient to meet all of your potential buyers.
It's an interesting way to do it, right? And it wouldn't be the first reason I'd think why someone would do it at an arena, but it makes perfect sense, right? Mm-hmm. So having those little meeting rooms there, cool, different way to do a conference. I'm sure some people listening to this are thinking, oh, maybe I'll do that for my conference next
Absolutely.
time.
And it's really fun to use the Jumbotron.
Yes.
It's a great way to get on the Jumbotron.
I am excited to jump on stage and speak in front of a Jumbotron tomorrow. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that again, but, check that off the bucket list at least once in life. So I do have a question. When I look at the people that are speaking at this event, I see a lot of, at least from what I've seen so far, seed and pre-seed individuals. And that's a little different from when I've done events like this, because I love these, as you described it, deal-making events, right? You're bringing together big companies, startups, educators, all of these people in one spot. This seems to be focused on folks that are really early stage. Am I getting the right impression, or is there more to it?
So tonight we are showcasing companies that participated in our G-Beta accelerators in Indiana. So there's 3 cohorts: 5G, Industry 4.0, and Sustainability and Energy. Mm-hmm. They are pre-seed and seed stage. And that is primarily who we work with and who gener8tor invests in. Tomorrow, there will be a broader spectrum of companies. So the signature event is Startup Track. And that's, as I described, when corporations choose the startups they want to meet with. That's open to any startup. They do not have to be a gener8tor alumni company. Mm-hmm. And those do range a bit more in stage.
And another thing I've found unique about this is when I think of startups in the manufacturing space, I think of robotics and automation technology. That seems to be, maybe it's just the industry I came up with, being a Rockwell Automation alumni. But those are the type of companies that I typically see at events like this. But this feels a bit more broad. And you were just saying 5G, sustainability. So can you tell us a bit more about how this is, let's say, manufacturing beyond just the factory floor, per se?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's a good question, and it's something that we've considered. Do we broaden this conference explicitly to hard tech. So the conference is sponsored by IEDC, which is the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and they do a really good job of focusing our accelerators on key industries across the state. And so this conference started as manufacturing, but then in discussing with their corporate partners across the state, it really has broadened. So there's a lot of interest in energy, batteries, and all of the things that are sort of adjacent, as you said, to directly on the factory floor.
And I'm curious about Indiana as well, because I know they're a big part of this, one of the sponsors. What is your impression of Indiana as a manufacturing state right now?
I'm probably not the best person to answer that question.
Well, even just peripheral. I think it would be great because we are going to be talking to the Indiana Economic Development Group. So we're going to get the boots on the ground answer. But I would love your, let's say, peripheral experience with it so far.
So what I would say about the state and IEDC in particular, and I know you're going to talk to Dave Roberts, is they are perhaps better than any other state we work with, really good at leveraging their convening power. So they put in the money to fund these programs, but not to fully fund them.
Okay.
And so other people come to the table. So the manufacturing, they have what's called the CICP, which is a series of industry-focused organizations across the state. So Connexus is the manufacturing arm, and they've been really involved in setting the stage for those G-Beta programs. So I think what I would say is, as a state, they are really forward-looking and really focused on innovation. This is in the heart of manufacturing country in the country. And I think they are very aware that they need to be thinking about what the next generation looks like if they're going to continue to compete.
Yeah. You know, we've covered a lot of ground in this quick conversation. Is there anything you wish I would have asked you in this discussion that I haven't yet?
I think what beer we would be drinking if we weren't here.
Ooh, what beer would we be drinking if we weren't here right now?
So I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and we have a great brewery called Untitled Art.
I've had their stuff.
It's amazing. And I know this is going to be controversial, but I did a little bit of like a dry January, and their juicy IPA that's non-alcoholic is one of my favorite IPAs.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't do dry January this year, but I started mixing in non-alcoholic beers into my rotation.
Yes.
That's one of the things that comes with the territory of being the manufacturing happy hour guy. Everyone wants to drink with you. I'm like, okay, I need something so that I don't have to do that all the time.
Some NA options, yes. You absolutely should try it. It's so good, and I continue to drink it, even though I tried all the NA beers, and they're the only good ones.
That is great intel, and for the record out there, for anyone listening, you know, they have a lot of other great beers as well.
Indeed.
I've gotten them in Milwaukee quite frequently. They have some very creative ones. I've had some very stout or pastry stout style type beers. So,
and they have beautiful labels, and they do ship. So if you're not in Wisconsin, you can order it on their website.
All right, Untitled Art. Well, we're going to be talking about Indiana. We're going to be talking startups here, but we appreciate you kicking us off. And next time we do this conversation, we'll have to do it over some beverages at Untitled Art.
Thank you, Chris.
Cheers.